Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a tips and tricks video on how I do my makeup now versus how I used to do it. Neither side is wrong or right. It's just preference in how I want my makeup to look. These sort of techniques have changed the way my makeup goes on, how my face looks, and I thought this would be really fun to do so you can actually see side by side the difference that these tips make. I still do tips and techniques that I do on my right side, but I think it's fun to see them compared to really see the difference makeup can make for your face, and I cannot wait to do this video for you guys. The first tip I have for you is to prime your face. If you neglect your skin prep, your makeup isn't going to look as good. It's not going to last as long, so definitely do your skin prep. I'm going to be using the new SheGlam Birthday Skin Primer, the Pigment Perfector, and this portion of the video is kindly sponsored by SheGlam, so thank you so much to SheGlam for sponsoring this portion of the video. I am going to be showing you guys how I use their new Pigment Perfector, part of their Birthday Skin Primer. It is the new one, it's not the pink one. I'm sure a lot of you have seen their pink Birthday Skin Primer on TikTok. It's gone viral. This is the new one they have, which is really cool, and I'm excited to show you guys this. If you didn't know already, you can get SheGlam's products on the Shein website, and I've purchased a bunch of the SheGlam products, used them in trying new makeups. I'm sure you guys have seen them on my channel. I love the brand because it's affordable. Their products have been really good so far from what I've tried, and I cannot wait to show you guys this primer. This one is different from the pink one in a few ways. I'm going to show you a little chart on the screen just to show you guys the comparisons between the two. If you are familiar with the first Birthday Skin Primer, this is their latest version. The packaging of this primer is stunning. I love the component. And when you open it up, the product is a white consistency. The pink one was obviously pink. This one has little flecks of black in it, but those are the micropigment beads that when you rub them together, it turns from a white to a nude on the skin. So you'll be able to see that. They recommend taking a dime size amount and rubbing it together. You can see that it's white right now. Just gonna show you the color it goes. So you can definitely see that it turns into a nude color. And I'm just going to apply this to the left side of my face, and I'll show you at the end of the video the wear test of my makeup. I'm just going to do my whole nose. It's great for smoothing the skin. It also has a slight orange smell to it because it has orange essential oil in it. Has the vitamin C, which is good for hyperpigmentation, dark spots, so you'll get that kind of skincare property to it, but also the immediate smoothing effects. You can feel that this is definitely a smoothing primer. It's also hydrating, which is good for me. This is best for those with oily skin, but because I have a pore issue, I feel like I get really good use out of this. It's also hydrating enough for me. I'm going to show you this on just the left side of my face. You can see this corrected my skin discoloration. There's a noticeable difference. This looks more even. This doesn't. This is a lot smoother on the skin, and you're going to see when I put my foundation over top of this that my makeup definitely glides on better with this sort of primer. It has oil controlling properties due to the salicylic acid in it, waterproof, sweat proof. This primer really does put in the work to make your makeup last, and you're going to see that in my wear test. But that is just the left side of my face done. You can visibly see a difference in how it color corrected my skin. I have generalized redness in my skin, especially my cheeks, and it definitely neutralizes that for me, which I like. I can use less foundation when I apply a product on top of something like this because it's already corrected the tones that I don't want in my skin. You can get the new SheGlam primer for $6.50 US, $8 Canadian on the Shein website. And I also have a discount code that I'll have on the screen for you guys to save 15% off the entire site, not just the SheGlam makeup. You can use it on clothes, whatever you see on Shein. You can use the discount on that. So definitely go check it out. I will leave all the information and links down below for you guys to check out the SheGlam primer yourself, and stay tuned for the end of the video for the wear test so you can see how my makeup held on this side of my face. So now that my primer is applied, I'm going to go ahead and apply my foundation to my skin. This primer is a lot thinner than other smoothing primers that I'm used to, which I personally really like because things can get a little bit cakey on those thicker smoothing primers. So I'm just going to apply my foundation the same amount to both sides. I'm not going to purposely make my right side look bad. Just going to apply this all over. It glides over top of the primer and just goes on really nice and evenly. There's no pilling or any sort of issue with that. They do recommend you waiting a minute before applying your foundation on top of this primer, just to let it set into the skin. So just be mindful of that, but you don't get any sort of pilling, as you can see, which is really nice. No primer down on this side of my face. It looks a lot more textured, and I can still see redness with the same amount of product peeking through. A primer really makes a big difference in my skin just because I do have texture. I like something hydrating like this primer because I do have normal to dry skin, but it's mainly the pores and texture that I have an issue with. The vitamin C in the primer will help with texture over time, and because of the smoothing qualities of the primer, you can visibly see how this is just not sitting as nicely as over here. It's very obvious to me. Before we finish off the complexion, I'm going to go ahead and move on to eyes. I'm just going to throw a little bit of eyeshadow in my crease, and we're going to focus on eyeliner and lashes to really change the face. Haven't changed really anything in how I apply my eyeshadow for either side of the face, but I have changed how I do my eyeliner and definitely the lashes that I use. My next tip is eyeliner application. Neither way is wrong. I still do both ways. I just have been doing my left side more. So I'm going to use some magnetic liner to line my eye, as I'm going to be using a fresh pair of magnetic lashes to show you guys the placement and just how I cut them. That makes a big difference. So for the right side of my face, I'm going to line it starting at the inner corner and all the way to the outer. And then for the left side of my face, I'm just going to keep it to half of my eye. You can see the difference eyeliner makes to the shape of my eye. Most noticeably is this eye looks a lot rounder just because you're following the curve of your eye. So that's how it looks on my eyes. This eye looks a little bit more angular, and also will look a little bit more natural just because you don't have so much black on the eye. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do my lashes. This is a tip I honestly just thought of because I've recently started doing it again. If you've been following my channel, you know that I recently got back into eyelash primer. So I'm going to do this eye with my eyelash primer and mascara, and this eye I'm just going to do with mascara. This is also good for nourishing your lashes. I find I have less lash loss at the end of the day. Kind of gives a little protector, just like the primer for foundation and everything. Makes everything look better. That's why I'm really into primers. This is the eye with primer and mascara, and this is without. I'm going to clean up any of the mascara on my lids after, but I just wanted you to see as soon as it's done, this just looks like it has more lashes to it, thicker, just a whole lot more, honestly. And even because of the liner, you can just see more lashes with less liner. So it's obvious for that reason too. And then for lashes, I'm going to use a pair of magnetic lashes. I'm not going to trim the lash at all for this side of my eye, just do a whole strip lash, which I still occasionally do. And this one is more so a half lash, or I cut it to really fit the outer corner of my eye, which will also give that lifted look and just overall more soft look to the eye. This is what the eyes look like currently. It's really cool to see them side by side, honestly. And I still love how this eye looks. It's a little bit more dramatic and full. I love how you can see the inner corner of my eye on this eye, and it just gives that more lifted look. I'm just going to bounce back to complexion before we finish off our eyes. I am going to do concealer, and this is one of the biggest trends in makeup for transforming the face. It truly makes a huge difference. And I used to, like many other people, do that triangle, and I still like how it looks just because I have troughs underneath my eyes, so a good amount of concealer I don't shy away from. Bring it all the way down. It's almost on the cheek. And then on this side, I've just been doing a little bit in the inner corner for brightness. Still bring it slightly on the nose. And then I just do the bit over here to provide that lift to the outer corner. Just gonna go ahead and blend that out. And you still bring it in to cover the under eye. You just aren't bringing it down. So it keeps it all lifted. You can see this side just a lot more brightness to it. This is a little bit more lifted. And I also used to do highlight on the forehead, down my nose, chin. I still do my nose occasionally after contouring. I don't highlight my chin because that is a prominent feature on my face. And I don't highlight my forehead either because I want to contour that. I don't want to highlight it. So I would honestly just do what other people were doing back in the day and think it would work on my face. But I've eliminated those from my routine. And I'll still do it on this side of the face, though this pains me to do it, because it definitely makes a contrast between my bronzer and my forehead, and I don't want to highlight my chin. So it's all about catering to what works for your face, playing around, seeing what you like, and it's just the beauty of makeup, right? It's so much fun to see it side by side. Before we move on to bronzer, I'm just going to lightly set my under eye, and I would always press in my under eye, but I would never press my whole face. And that's something that I started to do, a puff and powder, to set my entire face, and it's worked out really nicely for me. Before, as I said, I would just do my under eye and then take a brush and then lightly set the face. Taking the time to just press your powder in just helps with the overall set of the face. It's just an added step to really make a flawless makeup application. For bronzer, we were often taught to do the 3 on the face, and I never thought to where I placed it, and I went pretty heavy on the forehead. You can look back at some of my older videos. I've calmed it down, and I still like an intense bronze sometimes, but I just wasn't very specific. I kind of just did the whole cheek, really. Maybe this is why I went through so many bronzers. How I do my bronzer now is just very light-handed, and I start way higher. Basically like I'm putting highlight on just because it naturally goes down, and this is going to keep that lifted look to the face. It's not going to drag or droop. And then I'm just going to put lighter bronzer on the forehead, try and focus it on blending into that hairline. And then it doesn't make such a stark contrast between the highlighting and the bronzing. I mean, I'm guilty of that. But I do try and do this side for bronzer, just keeping it lighter. The side that I currently do just looks less heavy with product, honestly. And I'm not using that much less, it's just placement. Bronzer, granted, I was using a lot more back in the day, but placement makes a big difference because it really droops down my cheek. And this just helps to lift it up. So even when you're contouring, you just kind of want to bring it a little bit higher than what you're taught. Your brush is probably going to bring it down a little bit more anyways. And if you start higher, less of a chance for it to give that droopy sort of cheek. The same goes for blush. Just focusing on the back portion of my cheek. And I do it pretty high too, and I'm gonna put a bit of blush on so that you guys can really see it. And even blush helps with the contour of your face. And now I'm going to take the same blush and just bring it more forward on the apples, and it's just more blush and still going to the back portion of my cheek, but bringing it forward more so you can see it more head on the apple. Again, I still like this placement too. And I don't mind a heavy bronzer either. That's not to knock how I used to bronze. It's just the addition of highlighting and bronzing for me is something I just don't do. I'll still go heavy-handed occasionally with one or the other, but not both. Also going to apply a little bit of cream on top of the powder, which really makes a glow. I love this technique because it's different from what I've personally been taught, and I've really been enjoying doing it lately. I feel it really makes a difference in how the blush glows and blends into the skin because I'm using a damp beauty blender just to press in that cream. And it's almost like a blushy highlight, which I really like. So I'm only going to do it on that one side because that's something I've recently started doing as well. And I'd always just do powder. I also don't do highlight as much anymore. I still occasionally do it. Back when I did this sort of makeup, I'd always wear a beaming highlight. So we're going to apply this to the cheeks, just really buff it in. And because of how I apply my cream blush now, that kind of gives me a glow still, more natural glow in my opinion than this sort of highlight. Still looks a little bit highlighted, which I really like, but not with powder. It's just with how the damp beauty sponge applies that cream product. Also lately, I've been lining my waterline, which is something I never did. And this will make my eye appear smaller, but because that's something I'm doing now, I'm going to show you how it changes the eye. And I'm just using a brown, not a black, so it's not as harsh. And I'm just going to flip this around and do a cream in this eye so you can see how the cream really makes the eye pop. Then we're going to load up on the lower lash mascara. I also have tips for brows, for lips that change the shape of your face. Honestly, brows can do it the most. If I were to change one half of my face with my brow and how I used to do it, it would totally drag my side of my face down. But I wanted to show you more subtle differences you can make with your makeup than opposed to the brows, which totally change the shape of your face. So I'm just going to quickly do my lips, come back, finish off my hair, and finish off the video. I am back. What a difference little subtle changes make to the face. I'll show you guys a wear test in this video. You can see the difference between left and right. On my left side of my face, it doesn't have the shine or oil breakthrough, just still looks more smooth. So it definitely makes a difference for the longevity and overall just how the makeup applies. I can really tell if my primer and base is not right, nothing looks good on top, because I can totally tell the texture enhancement on this side of my face, on the right side, which has no primer. The makeup just went on so much more smoothly and is sitting better on the left side of my face. It truly makes a difference for me. It's one of my top tips, and definitely a great affordable primer to check out is this new one from SheGlam. If you have not heard of their birthday skin perfecting primer already, I highly recommend going onto Shein's website, checking out SheGlam, getting their pigment perfector. They're affordable. This is only $6.50 US, $8 in Canada. So I will leave my link down below for you guys to go and purchase. Also my coupon code to save 15% if you want to purchase this already affordable primer at a discount. Definitely use that code to check it out. Check out all of SheGlam while you're at it, as well as other videos that I've used SheGlam products in, because I have purchased from them previous and have really enjoyed their products thus far. So thank you so much again to SheGlam for sponsoring this video. I love the primer. I think you guys will too. And I hope these tips help you out. Maybe decide what you want to do for your face. Neither side is wrong by any means. It's just cool to kind of see what it looks like for two different sides of my face. So I have to go pick up my kids like this, so hopefully no one notices too much the difference in my face. But I had so much fun filming this video, and I have more tips and tricks that I can share with you guys that I have done recently to change my makeup application. If you want to see a part 2 of this video, let me know in the comment section below. So thank you guys so much for watching this one. If you have not subscribed already, I would love for you to do so by hitting the red subscribe button, the bell to be notified of all my future videos, and I will see you guys in my next video.